this is who I am, and I pretty well tried every mechanical system. If people want to go to my website, it's clearsphere.ca.
Here.
And I don't know, is it on there?
Well, it doesn't say,
Clearsphere.
yeah, it does say,
Okay, light gauge steel. And it has all sorts of features in it. And this guy's gas bill for the whole year in a really, really cold winter was under $300. Okay, for everything.
He's got
But
solar
you can see
panels.
there's solar panels on
Yeah.
the roof, very high performance windows. The whole house is wrapped in like a Gore-Tex jacket. I don't know if you guys can see this.
So do we have that in our house, Gore-Tex jacket? Or
No,
just
you have something that's a little bit better than that.
better than Gore-Tex jacket?
Yeah, and it's sitting right here. Okay?
Okay.
So this is on the outside of every single house,
Okay.
and I'm going to tell you why it's better. And I'm actually going to hopefully convince you that you see a lot of houses that are being built with 2x6 studs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So the 2x6 stud is bigger, but is it necessarily better? Those are the things we're going to talk about.
Okay, that's
But
good.
your whole house, instead of being covered with a breathable membrane, like the white house wrap that you're seeing in the slide there, is covered with this insulated sheathing. And this company has done an awful lot to make this product as inert as they can. So you'll actually see that there's zero emissions into the atmosphere. For it's CHFCs, which is chlorohydrofluorocarbons. And that's a big word for chemicals that actually break down the ozone.
Right.
Okay? So this is like a winter jacket that's completely over the outside of your house. And for me, it all gets down to this, because I have two young kids. I have an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old. And right now, how many people, what's the population of the planet? Anybody know? Roughly.
A couple 100 million or something like that, isn't it?
Okay? That's a lot. Okay? So if we look at the basketball there, the basketball is the Earth, and in scale, there it is. I don't know how to, I put it on vibrate, but in scale, a really thin layer of duct tape represents the atmosphere. So the part of the atmosphere that we use is called the troposphere, and it's 12 kilometers thick. So right now, we have 6.5 billion people using this little tiny veneer. And that's what protects us from space. How many people are we going to have on the planet in 2050? It's going to be 10 or 11 billion people.
We don't blow ourselves up first.
Right? Well, maybe not. But we got to think about what we're going to be doing. So the really good news is when you buy an Energy Star house, you're putting 2 tons less of CO2 into the atmosphere every year for as long as you own that house. Okay? And that's really important because a smaller 4-cylinder car actually creates about 5 metric tons of CO2. Okay? What does a house create? Probably about 10. So your Energy Star house, believe it or not, is only using twice as much as your car if you have a 4-cylinder car. Who's got a 6-cylinder car? Who's got an 8-cylinder car? Who's driving a GMC Yukon? Nobody. Good. 51 metric tons. 5 houses. So the real thing to figure out here is what the government's trying to do with these labels on houses. And some places they're voluntary, like here in Oshawa. In some places they aren't. If you want to build in Vaughan or Newmarket, the builders have to build Energy Star houses. The municipality's saying, you want to build here, it's got to be an energy efficient house. So again, Baywood isn't being forced to do this here, and they're doing it because they think it's a good thing to do. Okay? So the Energy Star label is a label that matches all these other labels that are on the house. So there's one on your furnace, okay? There's an Energy Star label on your windows. There's an Energy Star label if you buy the better appliances. How many people here are going to buy Energy Star appliances? Okay. Okay. How many people are going to buy a front-loading washer? How many people are not going to buy a front-loading washer? Front-loading washers are really important because they have a centrifuge in them, and when you put them in there, they use 40,000 less gallons of water annually, and they spin the clothes really fast, so when you take them out, they spend 60% less time in an electric dryer. Okay? So that's the single biggest thing next to your furnace fan motor that eats up electricity in your house. So where's the electricity coming from? Does anybody know where most of our electricity comes from in Ontario?
Nuclear.
Not the most, actually.
Nuclear.
So actually, the nuclear's right, because it's the thing that's providing the base load. Because when they start the reactors up, so 35% is coming from nuclear. There's a little bit of a problem with that because it's creating plutonium, nuclear waste. We don't know what to do with it. The other 25% is coming from hydro. But in peak demand, like right now when everybody gets home and they're turning on everything, it's coming from coal-fired plants. And we're only starting to buy it from the US when we had real peak demand, right? When they're actually forecasting that in the summer. So the point is, if you have Energy Star appliances and you have appliances that are using less electricity, everybody's got a smart meter on their house now. Did you know that?
Yeah.
You have to do your
Yes.
laundry in the middle of the night.
So that smart meter measures time of use. And you're going to pay twice as much for electricity if you use it now. Okay? So you want to be looking at lights, appliances. Don't buy the plasma TV, get the LCD TV, right? Look at all your purchases so you're reducing, it's called plug load. Okay, so the way Energy Star works is there's this recipe, and the way this house is different from other houses is there's 4 differences. There's more insulation. Your walls actually are better built, believe it or not. So this wall, the way Baywood's building it, with a 2x4 stud, with a high-density R14 fiberglass bat, and this insulated sheathing is better than a 2x6 wall.
You mean strength or insulation?
Thermal performance. It's comparable in strength. I don't know if you've seen them building your house, but there's actually wind bracing that goes behind this to give the wall more racking strength. Okay? So, see the first point there? We got well insulated. I'm actually going to quiz you guys a little bit on this.
Can I ask
So-
you a question on the electricity part that you mentioned?
Sure.
I read an article in the paper recently that there's a company that will offer to put solar panels on your roof, and the lifespan of like 50 years, and after 20 years, there's no cost to you, and after 20 years, it becomes yours or something. And they'll install it and they'll market it. You get 80 cents a kilowatt hour, and I guess they get that. And it really helps reduce the electricity load or whatever. That's in the
So is the
daytime.
company called Pure Energies?
I think so. There was one they're working at one subdivision and
So here's the jig on
it's
that.
better if a
They're
does it.
going to pay you to use your roof.
Right.
Why are they doing that?
I want to make a profit out of it.
They're going to make money on it.
Yeah.
Why don't you do that? You're going to make more money doing it.
Well, they say it's better if you get together with neighbors if you're going to do that, because then you can get someone to come in and install it at a much better price.
Well, you could get on the phone and there's lots of companies that'll come in and do it. So here's actually the jig. You can save more on what I talked about, picking Energy Star appliances, than you actually can by putting it on your roof. So the way that you actually save the most energy is not to use it.
Conservative.
Okay? And that 80 cents a kilowatt that the OPA is paying, the Ontario Power Authority, it's not going to be forever. It's for the first people in line can actually get a 20-year contract.